did you record that bass?
Yeah. Let me fade it out. Yeah. Fade it out. Yeah, so I have my GarageBand open. Got a lot of stuff open here. And we're going to transition to that. Ooh, nice. Okay.
You know,
All right,
is
here
it
it is.
possible, my handsome friend, is it possible just to have a fist over you? Because right now we got a couple of fists.
Yeah. But on the broadcaster software, it's fine. It looks a little different. So I should look at this camera.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey,
It's my friend.
how we doing?
Hey, buddy. It's really good to see your face. You got a cooler?
Got my lunch pail.
Yeah. This isn't water.
Step one.
Nice jar. Oh,
Step
there it
two.
is. Oh shit.
And then step 3.
It just goes right into there. Last night we were having a little vodka and Diet Sprite, and I guess this got left, so we'll just start with that.
So you've been breaking quarantine.
No, we just had Evan over, and he's come over once a week basically the whole time, so we don't consider it breaking.
So he's kind of vetted. He's passed the quarantine airlock.
Yeah, for a while we were trying to do it like he's out, like he would only go in the garage, and then he wouldn't come in the house, but he has to go pee-pee every 10 minutes, so it's like, it was a lot of, what do I do? So, and then Rebecca's mom was going to come over, and we were going to, like, we were like, okay, be really good for 2 weeks, 14 days, keep everyone out of the house, like, really.
Yeah.
And then they extended the shelter in place for another month, and so she's like, I'm not coming.
So
we're like, well,
yeah,
whatever.
So what's the date? What's the date that they propose now? May 18th to reopen?
Well, that's step 2. I think we go as far as step 4 for reopening. So step 4 is like reopening old people homes and shit. You know, like people were almost dead already.
Step 4 is full open.
Yeah, so they said end of May, full force open. But I mean, I'm wearing masks everywhere I go in the store, but
yeah,
cleaning pools, I don't wear a damn. There's no mask. I don't run into people. Barely, and if we do, we stay 10 feet apart. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I'm wondering if you saw the Elon Musk interview, the new one with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I did. I just watched that the other day.
Oh, you saw the whole thing?
So the problem with that is it's pretty short because it's 2 hours, but it's also short because he's kind of a taciturn guy, so doesn't say a lot when he says something. So it's like even shorter because of that. So there's really like an hour of content. But it's pretty cool.
Also, there were edits. If you listened with headphones, which I did, you can hear when the audio and restarts.
Oh.
So there was like 3 or 4 edits that I could hear. This is only the first hour and a half.
Yeah, it was good.
So he says, Elon's like, it's not that bad. We should really do this. Let's get back to work, basically, is what he was saying.
Yeah.
That's the hint I got from him. How's that land in your reality?
It's hard to know what's true these days. These days, in the beginning of the golden age, it's hard to know what's true from anything. But yeah, I think we should reopen sooner rather than later. I mean,
sorry.
It's easy to want the lockdown to continue if you're getting a paycheck and you're not commuting and things seem better, but that's the minority of people.
The birds are returning.
I think most people are hurting pretty bad.
I want to spend money at bars.
Yeah. But also, like Q2, the second quarter of 2020 is when the shit really hit the fan. So you saw Uber just posted their revenues or whatever, and they lost like billions of dollars for the first quarter. But the coronavirus didn't really hit until, things didn't get real till mid-March. So once the second quarter comes, which is April, May, June. So at end of June, there's probably going to be another shit show.
So the first half of 2020 is going to be toilet water.
Yeah, and I think 2021 we're going to see record high spending. We're going to see, things change for the better.
You think record spending, like buying boats and shit?
Yeah, I think a lot of right now spending's suppressed because people are worried. I think there's a lot of online shopping going on now, but people are also trying to save more, and so I think when 2021 comes around, there's going to be some crazy, maybe even Christmas time, 2020.
Mm.
But who knows? I mean, virus could break out again in the wintertime. It's hard to even say or know anything.
Well, we're really just speculating, you and me here. Right now, I'm like kind of because I trust Elon Musk so much, which maybe is ill placed. Him and he's just so smart that he was saying like it looks like that we probably had this late last year, and that way more people had it than we counted or thought, and that the death rate is like a factor of a 50th of what we've guessed.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when I went to California, remember I had the dry cough like the whole time.
Wasn't I sick too? Weren't we both sick?
Yeah, I don't think you saw the worst of what I had, but it was like just wicked bad cough.
That's right. You got sick
But
before you
no,
came
like
here.
nothing. There was no congestion. It was just super dry cough.
You were in an airport too, right then.
Yeah.
Right where everyone else was in airports who were sick. So it's like you may have given it. I mean, who fucking we don't know.
Who knows?
But it feels good to speculate, I guess.
Yeah, it feels good to just do something, even if it doesn't make a difference. People,
Yeah.
um, people just feel better when they're doing things, and they
Well,
feel like
been
they're doing
spending.
something towards it.
Have you driven by a Home Depot or a hardware store in your town lately?
There's a hardware store down the street. I haven't been in there in a while.
The Home Depots in the Bay Area have hour-long lines outside of them. Home Depot's considered essential, and so everyone's like building gardens and like fixing shitty door, or the vent, whatever it is. People are lining up to go into Home Depot. Huge lines.
Yeah, it puts tons of things in relief, like Boston University has to colleges in general. They have to, they're switching to full remote teaching, so they have to convince students, hey, remote learning is just as good as coming in to the classroom. And then they have to pivot away from that and say, well, but you should come back to campus anyway once we're locked down. So they have this weird conflict where they have to convince students that remote learning is good and better, or just as equivalent as coming in, until lockdown ends, and then they have to say, no, you should really come into campus because nothing compares to an on-campus learning experience. So there's this weird conflict that they have to navigate, and I don't know what's going to happen with that, but there's, I think, going to be a lot of unintended positive repercussions.
Did you hear about what the other school had to say in your area? Harvard?
I'm not fully up on what Harvard's doing as of now, but they did lay off and furlough a bunch of people.
They pissed everyone off because they got $40 billion right before they laid off all of their most vulnerable people, janitors, maintenance people.
Yeah.
The Goodwill Hunting folk of Harvard just got F'd in the A, fired, no pay, right after Harvard got $40 billion from the government.
Yeah, Harvard's like Peter Thiel said this. Harvard's like Studio 54.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just a credential factory,
Yeah, it's not real learning.
It's just it's a club. It's a popular kids club.
Elite status certification certificate.
Yeah,
it only costs you $250,000 in 5 years of your life.
And so, Harvard's like just one of the biggest scams ever. I would, even though I work in a university, I would say that most universities are also pretty much pathologically damaged.
Well, they're bankrupt.
I don't think it was always that way.
Up. Well, the prices go up way past inflation.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah.
Where's that money going? It's not. I mean, are more job? No.
And Harvard has a huge endowment, so you know it's just crazy the amount of money they're getting. And as Neil Ferguson from the Imperial College of London has demonstrated, academia experts are actually usually very harmful to people. You know,
Uh,
like they get into these rabbit holes of like circle jerking on their own research,
okay, yeah,
and they're
little
just sort
bubble.
of in this peer review, bubble of yeah, it's right. Well, there's this guy Neil Ferguson. He created a model, computer model, modeling the pandemic, which he had written, I don't know, 20 years ago, and so he had modeled other things like bird flu, swine flu, other pandemics, and he works at worked. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he got fired yet. He worked at Imperial College in London, and he was the one advising the government in the UK to lockdown. And
Mm.
so the government looked at his models, and they're like, "Oh wow, this is devastating. This is totally crazy, crazy amount of deaths." So they took his advice, locked down everything, and shelter in place, social distancing, quarantine, don't go out of your house. That was his recommendation. That was the UK government's recommendation. And then he just recently got caught stepping out with his mistress, who is married and has kids. So he told everyone to not leave their house, but then he left his house. And he wouldn't release the code for the modeling software, but just recently was released to like Microsoft and someone else, and Microsoft basically massaged the code so it wasn't as crazily fucked as it originally was. But even so, now the code is public, and people are looking at it and they're like, "This is completely zany and stupid and just totally broken."
Mm.
So, long story short, an academic was completely wrong and completely incompetent, and because of his recommendations, lots of people lost their jobs and lives, and he was stepping out. It's
Fucking some bitch.
just fucking crazy.
You think he said that just so he could go f his side bitch?
I don't know.
Fuck, man, that's so terrible. I mean, this is why aren't we throwing like we should be turning the table over on these governments, right?
Yeah, it just goes to show you that there's a huge expert problem. Is that you can't really trust anyone to be an expert. You just have
But
to, but you have to
but
because
I need to pay you to fix my computer when it
right,
doesn't work.
or a
So
doctor. So
yeah,
you
it's
know,
all of it. Or you got to pay me when your pool doesn't is green. Like you have to
doc,
pay me so much money.
the doctors are a little bit different because they have training and it's sort of vetted training, whereas academics they're just in pie in the sky weirdo land, like
Yeah,
just considering their own theory. They have tenure and they're just like thinking about their own theories and modifying their own theories,
yeah.
totally divorced from the real world. And then yet making policy based on these decisions that are or these ideas that are divorced from the real world is where problems come in.
To be fair, that sounds really fun. If I could live in a world where my theories are being pushed, encouraged, and there's cash coming at them, and they
Yeah.
just keep sounding better and better every year goes by, and I feel smarter and cooler, like I would love that job.
And everyone's praising you. Oh, you're so smart. Your models are so great. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love it. I mean, wouldn't that be fun?
And that's the problem. It would be fun, but that's the problem with any kind of top-down solution. So,
But we know that these the competency hierarchies are inevitable, right?
yeah. But I think the solution is more localism, resource-based economy, localism, um, with shades of sort of libertarianism, but sort of more sort of localism than libertarianism. So the top down solutions are almost always bad.
Almost what?
Almost always bad for people.
What's localism? Tell me more about what do you mean by
Localism would be like sort of what you're doing. Like I grow my own food. I know my neighbors. We exchange food. We exchange resources that if they
all
need
kinds of
something
things.
that I have, I give them that. If they have something I need, we negotiate. Um, So a sort of, more community locally, rather than having people at the top saying, "Everyone has to do this." Meanwhile, I'm gonna go fuck my mistress. But do as I say.
Yeah.
So anyone at the top who's saying "do as I say," it's like the should problem. People with
Yeah.
people telling you what to do with no authority. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But they're in charge.
Yeah, yeah. So it's hard to get away from any. I mean, hierarchies, I think, have to exist.
We wouldn't have Zoom if there wasn't the hierarchy that built the company.
Right. Zoom's Chinese. It's like based in China. All this suspicious
The thing is,
stuff.
I'm with. I
But it's
hear
hard.
you. And
It's
even
hard
like
to know what's true. It's hard.
Tesla, Elon Musk, my hero. He's like gets supplies from hundreds of places all over China, and I'm like, how do I feel about that? It's like that's just the material reality of where capitalism is, and it's like Chinese people, just people who are like play bass and have a wife and whatever. Most of them are probably like whatever about me and you and most of us.
Yeah, most people are just trying to live their lives and
Most people
be
just
happy.
want to have sex, rock out, eat food, sleep,
Yeah.
have kids. Most people, but it's like you get the and like you're talking about the top down hierarchy in charge people, and now I'm the president forever, and everything else too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
you get like it's almost like politics selects for pathological, sociopaths and stuff.
Was it Bill Hicks who said like anyone who wants to run for president, I don't want them to be president?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the president should be pushed in the office kicking and screaming.
Right. That was George Washington, right? He didn't want to be president.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "No, you got to do it." And he's like, "Well, okay, for the sake of the
I'll do
country."
It for 4 years, and someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was more true in the early years of the republic. People were sort of like, "Well, I will make sacrifices for the country." And you could argue that Trump is doing that too, but that's just a whole ball of wax there.
I know, but I would, even as a lefty lib, I would almost agree that especially what he thinks he's doing and what others think he's doing, he's sacrificing some of his golden years to try to do some work.
Yeah, country. I mean, like
that's a perspective.
For example, not taking a salary, and
I didn't know that.
Things
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's not getting a salary, and his businesses are probably getting completely reamed. Because it's all like people in crowded spaces, right? Hotels, casinos, yeah. But it's hard, again, it's like a weird time because there's no way to know what the hell is true, and there's no real way to find out what's true. And I don't know if that's if that's like a feature or a bug. Is that?
Well, it means we have to communicate this with each other and be patient together as we wait for Fox News and the New York Times to tell us the truth.
Yeah, well, I think if you're watching Fox News or the New York Times or listening to NPR or CNN or any of those things, you're destroying your brain, and your quality of life is worse if you look at those things.
Yeah.
No matter what, left or right, no matter what side you're looking at.
Your mental food diet is.
Fox News and the New York Times are two completely different kinds of news sources. You just loop them in.
How did she even hear that?
I heard it through the door.
But the thing is that the incentives for news outlets have changed, because they now just have to get clicks.
Right.
And so
that's
in order
almost not fair to the industry.
And so in order to get the best way to get clicks is just to generate things that are controversial, because conflict sells better than happy, lovey stories.
Unity.
But I agree that New York Times, has more, or did in the past have more credibility than something like Fox News.
Well, New York Times even still has more than CNN or MSNBC or whatever the other ones are that are, as in their own words, they say they are friendly to the Democratic Party. Those are their words.
Sure, but then there was
New York Times tells more truth than other ones, but it's less. It's less over time. The graph.
Yeah, it's losing credibility, that's for sure, because they are they've admitted that they're partisan and they've admitted that they have a narrative that they have a bias.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. I'm just saying you're better off. Your mental health will be better if you avoid the news. Because how often do you
Well-
listen to something on the news that directly affects you?
Never.
Almost never. And
Almost
if it's something that affects you, usually you'll hear about it from someone that's close to you.
Like a lockdown or a stimulus.
Yeah, like a stimulus. Which was a complete joke, by the way.
But we got ours. Did you get it?
Yeah. Straight into
It's-
Bitcoin, baby.
Yeah, that was you did?
Yeah.
Whole thing?
Well, I had when the market crashed, that's when I put everything into Bitcoin. But so essentially I did. But it was just before I actually got the stimulus.
I hope you're right, Aubrey. I hope you become very wealthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. I mean,
I know that's
I
not
hope
your
that too.
goal.
I hope that too. But it's not like all or nothing. You just want to
But
have.
wouldn't I
You want to
just
have a little
picture
piece
you-
of something. You want to have a little piece of all the different things, and take. Put your. It depends on your tolerance for risk, I guess.
You have a medium-high tolerance for risk, it seems.
Yeah, I would say I'm a fan of risk, personal risk, professional risk. I don't like like physical danger risk. But moving across country, that kind of risk. I'm a fan of the solo missions. You're really alone in this life, and you are sort of at the end of the day you're alone. And so I think that informs a lot of my sort of my risk profile.
I hear that too, and I think you and I share certain feelings about aloneness and, even the topic of money and spouses, and there's like weird lines people have and feel and believe about whose money is whose and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, you see the
And
yeah. Go ahead.
my mom raised me a way that's very different than the way my wife was raised about money. Just the topic of money. I was raised black and white different. And so, but I'm married to a person who was raised in a way that is like foreign to me. And so we were like bumping in and then like figuring out and then kind of crashing a little and then going, hey, okay, we like this. And then so we're slowly like, it's not easy, but we're like,
Yeah.
figuring out, oh, okay.
Yeah, my parents were absolutely horrible with money
Mm.
and didn't really. I mean, I think well-intentioned, good people, but just bad with money. So a lot of what I know about finances and all that stuff, I just had to teach myself. And it's a shame that this kind of thing you don't learn it in high school. You really should.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
Like how to budget, what's the stock market, what is the
What does
Federal
interest on your credit card mean?
Yeah, what is the Federal Reserve? Is debt good or debt bad? So there's a lot of things that are a lot of things have been broken for a long time. And I think the pandemic is sort of helping us to look at those things in a new way.
If the masters of our world were to teach every street youth of the secrets of how to make money, the system would fall apart. The system needs poor people to be unaware of how money works
Yeah.
and to burn it as fast as they can on the shortest, like fast food,
Right.
diamond watches, cars, quick.
Yeah.
That's and I'm starting to figure out like you should wear your shoes a couple more years. Really, think about it, because they're still fine.
Yeah.
And no, you actually don't need a watch. Your phone tells the time,
I mean,
and
Yeah.
all the things.
it's almost like the system as it was not really sustainable. You know? I mean, you know that. You've been
Can
saying
you say
that
that one more
forever.
time?
It's not a sustainable. I mean, capitalism. I don't think capitalism's bad. I just think we were way fucking. Everyone was all leveraged up with debt, and this includes almost every corporation. People are still just living in debt,
Mhm.
and of course the government has tons of debt. It's just not good. And then the Federal Reserve's printing money. It's just
Trillions.
yeah, trillions. And
So
so
let's remind.
so
Let's
every time
remind
they print money, that your whatever you have in your bank account is worth less.
yes.
And Bitcoin doesn't have that problem
Right. Why not?
because there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. There's never going to be more than that amount.
21 million is enough for a global economy to operate.
Well, you can have up to 100 millionth of a Bitcoin.
Aubrey's saying hello to you. You want to say hi? Here,
Hey.
let's do this for a second. Say hi.
Hi, Aubrey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. Doing great.
Your face, Aubrey.
How's lockdown treating you? Yeah.
Sometimes it's lame, but ultimately it's fine. It's fucking beautiful here.
Yeah.
Sunny, gorgeous days. We have a banging garden. It's just everything is green.
Yeah,
lush.
I saw the new garden planter. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll bring you out there. You should see it now. It's way different.
I know. Yeah, I know loneliness has been a challenge for
Yeah,
everybody.
Loneliness would be a challenge even if we weren't sheltering in
Because
place.
of babies.
Yeah.
Our lives are. We were dealing with a loneliness problem before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So there's going to be some ways in which that's resolved when the shelter in place is lifted. Like being able to see my sister and Tim
Right.
frequently is going to be great, and visits from my mom. But we still need to figure out how to build some friendships and community.
Yeah, we're kind of starting from near zero as far as our town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parents to like, hey, do you want to be a parent together sometimes? Like, we don't know anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
But our life's perfect, so.
Yeah, you got a lot going for you, for sure.
Well, I have a business that pays for our whole life. And I can do it by myself, and she does the books and some other fun
Well, it
things.
doesn't just pay for our whole life. We have room for fun things. Like we
Yeah.
got breakfast from Sam's Log Cabin today.
Nice.
Thank you, Real. Mwah.
They delivered it. The owner, Sam, drove to my house this morning
Wow.
to deliver the breakfast for
I'm
her. It's like pre-Mother's Day breakfast.
Making me miss Callie.
Yeah, I'm telling you, before this call's over, you're coming outside. You're gonna look at our yard, and you're gonna think about that $54 flight to come visit us.
It's really thanks to Vetiver.
Yeah.
Like, she's just made it so much more appealing to be in the outdoor spaces of our home. Like, she's made the front is completely different.
I'll show you.
Yeah. There's a trash everywhere now.
Yeah, there's like plants, and it looks cool.
This is a new person upstairs, or just a new owner? Or who's that person?
The Vetiver?
Yeah.
She's our new roommate, the person who replaced the person who had like the signs in the window.
Oh, the upstairs person. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the little there's a studio above our garage,
right
directly above here.
The feminism is a cancer guy.
She's an old gratitude person.
Okay.
So she's from the Gratitude alum.
Do I know at the Berkeley one?
No. She didn't work there.
Okay.
She's before. She's like Oakland or San Francisco or something. But she knows the community. Is friends with Chandra.
Okay.
They're like super buds. There's Alma. Buds with Alma.
Gotcha.
So Vetiver is big into plants. She has a side business. She's a masseuse, but she also like makes herbal. She grows the herbs, then makes concoctions, and people buy them.
Nice.
So she's doing that here now. It's pretty cool. We have a fucking really sick farm right now. It's pretty cool. But I do want to get back to Bitcoin, 21 million.
Yeah, so, if you were to buy Bitcoin, you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy 100 millionth of a Bitcoin.
Which means the smallest fraction?
Yeah, the smallest fraction is 0.7 zeros and then a 1. you
So
can
how
buy
many units is there then total? If it's 21 million times 100 million,
right. So
what's
that's
that?
how many little bits you could have.
Like units. So that's like the penny of Bitcoin.
Right.
Basically.
So if you took like the world, the total market capitalization of the world, and divided it by 21 million, so that would be like, let's say Bitcoin took the place of the currencies of the world. That would mean one Bitcoin would be worth about, I don't know, $1 million. Now that would be a long way off, because governments don't want to give up control, and whoever prints the money has control. And the Federal Reserve is not a public entity; it's a private entity. So there's a private entity that has full control over essentially everything, because if you control the money, you control everything.
Yeah.
So that's the promise of Bitcoin, and in a weird way, Bitcoin is very sort of, libertarian. Sort of, it's one of those weird most technologies are sort of left leaning, liberal leaning, because they break down barriers. But Bitcoin is one that's a little more in the center, maybe center right, because of privacy and encryption. And that's what makes it a little more sort of libertarian friendly, is because you have obscurity, limited obscurity, but you do have obscurity. And so there's a lot of promise in Bitcoin, and it's in many ways it's like the early days of the internet. You see, there's all these companies, all these fanatical people, and Bitcoin might go away. I mean, it is the OG. It's been around for 10 years, 11 years. So it may go away. It's unlikely.
You would stand to lose some dough if that were to happen.
Yeah, I think so. It could go away, but the fundamental technology that drives Bitcoin is not going to go away, because that's like saying networks are going to go away, right? So like you could say the internet is just one version of is a subset of a network. So Bitcoin is a subset of blockchain technology, and blockchain is essentially a public database that you can't change.
Right. Everyone keeps a record because everyone has the record.
Right.
Right.
So you can see how that would be useful for like title deeds, because you could have an immutable.
Oh yeah, who really owns this house?
Right, and people could say, well, I mean, when I'm looking at the blockchain here, it says so and so had it before you did.
Yeah. And if
so it's harder to forge things. Like it's harder to forge ownership if everyone can see the ledger.
Yeah. What's Bitcoin saying about all the Corona stuff?
It's what? I miss you, man. Wish I was there in the garage, playing some music, fucking around. What were you saying about coronavirus?
Bitcoin, coronavirus.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening?
Right.
Are the Bitcoin masters releasing statements about stuff?
Well, that's the thing. There is no master Bitcoin.
I mean, there are spokespeople.
There's spokespeople, and there's a sort of a consortium, I guess. But no one has the control to just flick the switch, right? I mean, it's such a bizarre thing, because no one even knows who the person is that created it. That's the fucked up part. And
because the person supposedly is staying secret.
Who knows? They could have been pseudonymously. Satoshi Nakamoto is the name, but that could just be a pseudonym. And
it sounds like a pseudonym.
And so whoever that person was, at the beginning, they mined a bunch of Bitcoin. So they created a bunch of Bitcoin, and the wallet that that person owns has, like a bunch of Bitcoin in it, but it hasn't been touched since the beginning. So it could be that that person's dead, or it's not a person, it's a group. There's a lot of unknowns at the base level of Bitcoin, which is a little bit worrying because, what if it's just the government that created it or something? But all the code is open source, so anyone can look at the code and say, "Oh, this is weird," or "This is a security hole," or "This is whatever." So it's vetted in the sort of public eye. And
Do you know
also,
what the worst thing for Bitcoin is?
What's that?
All of the other cryptocurrencies. There's now thousands of confusing cryptocurrencies that Bitcoin is now in a soup of.
Right.
That makes me personally, and I'm sure others like me, afraid.
Yeah.
Because I have 401k from the flight attendant days.
Mm-hmm.
One could move, eventually move some into Bitcoin, but it's like,
yeah.
What about Slamcoin or Sarbcoin or Zipdam or Flippy Gold or Zipdoodle?
Yeah. It's just like the beginning of any technology. Tons and tons of scam artists flood into the space, and try to scam people, and that shit's still going on for sure. But we know that at least with pretty good certainty, we know that Bitcoin isn't a scam. So if it was a choice between Bitcoin and 100 other altcoins, risk reward, probably better off with Bitcoin.
Are there others that are close to Bitcoin, like second and third place?
Yeah, there's like, if Bitcoin is gold, there's like a silver.
What's the silver?
Silver is Ethereum, which is sort of a different animal. So Ethereum is like you could imagine it as a distributed computer. So instead of a computer running on your physical hardware, you could imagine a computer that runs on the internet. And that's what Ethereum is. So with Ethereum, you can create like sophisticated contracts where you have escrow and all these kinds of more sophisticated transactions than Bitcoin.
Would that be good for me to sell my pool business at some point through something like that?
I don't know. Probably shouldn't take financial advice from me, but...
Well, you seem to be doing pretty well.
I would say, if you were to sell your pool business...
Which eventually is the plan.
Yeah. I would maybe... If I had a pool business and I was going to sell it, I'd probably sell it for cash, but then I'd put some of that cash into Bitcoin.
That seems like a safer route.
Yeah, just because you want to hedge against... it's an old... It's trite, but you want to be diversified, right? And you almost want to be fractally diversified. So
similarly, but not like more, but not exactly the same.
Yeah, like if you're diversified, like, I have cash and then I have some cryptocurrency. So within the cryptocurrency, you want to be diversified. So you want to have this sort of fractal diversification strategy. And you want to be diversified in not just financially. I think you want to be diversified in all areas of life. So, the more skills that you have, the better. The more creative outlets you have, the better.
Excuse me.
Things like that. So diversity is our strength in that way.
Well, because people can do so many things in a lifetime.
Yeah, life is really long.
It kind of is. But yet, I feel so short on time very often.
Yeah. I do too.
Like, there's this guy now, he can write for comedy novels. He can play bass like Leonard Skinner or better. He can do computers wicked good. He's done skateboarding. He knows how to be romantic. Very loyal. That's a cool list. Probably more things on the list. I don't know anyone like that.
We fritter away our time. That's why news is so bad. You just fritter away your time. Watching other people trying to tell you what to do and give you quote unquote expert opinions that turn out to be wrong.
So it's like we always need experts, and the experts definitely are going to steer us wrong.
Yeah.
So like part of me goes like, if counting the beans costs this much time and you lose that many beans during the count, stop counting them. Just put the beans in the bucket and then use the beans. Like it's
Yeah.
I in some ways I take that approach where it's like even my business, like I'm not measuring the amount of muriatic acid I'm putting in a pool. I'm watching how much comes out of the end of the jug. I know how big the pool is, and I'm doing like the kind of math you do when you're driving on the road and someone starts moving your lane without a blinker and you just let off the gas and then you blinker right on time to move around. It's like, you know, the kind of math you don't have the time to tell other people about. It's like that's going on too.
Yeah. That's crazy. It reminds me of like catching a baseball, right?
Yeah.
You're not calculating trajectories and then calculating parabolas and crunching all the XY algebra. For some,
your brain is though, sort of.
It is, but not at a conscious level at all.
No way you could show your work.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to show your work while catching a fly ball?
Right. Yeah. Narrate the math while you're catching the fly ball. Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna say there? Fuck, forget. Something about. Oh yeah, we fritter away our time. I mean, even with like movies and shows and stuff, I'm becoming so like jealous of my own time with stuff like that. Like I'm protecting my psychology more, which means, oh yeah, dude, you should watch Black Mirror. Like, why? I mean, it's probably good. I know I've seen other episodes. It's good, but it's like it's very dark. There's not a lot of happiness. I mean, is that it's kind of like you are what you eat, but for everything that you ingest. Yeah. So if you're just ingesting, dark, negative, kind of morbid music or videos or whatever, I think I'm just done with that, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like let's watch something informative. If I watch movies, it's like let's watch something informative or funny. I don't want to just be
or action, a little action sometimes.
Yeah,
add action to that
like
list.
some kind of triumph. Like fuck, yes, nice, we won. That's awesome. Anything like the end of Aliens is a perfect example. It's so badass. Like if you're going into a job interview, just watch when she goes to confront the Queen Alien. You'll be pumped up.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. But watch. And I used to be the guy who would be like watching dark movies and listening to sad music, and I just don't do that anymore. And I'm not saying that's better for everybody, but it's definitely better for me.
That's cool, man. That's good thinking.
And
I don't like scary movies. I don't watch them.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be.
And my wife, both of us, we don't enjoy the fear. It scares us for it's not. There's no fun part after.
Yeah, there's no
I get chemically how others they get the fear, and then there's the rush, and then the rush falls, and then there's the leftover chemicals. I get it. Doesn't happen to me.
Maybe it's just and it could just be an age thing, But watching TNG is it's like meditative.
Yeah.
Nothing super crazily dark is gonna happen. You're sort of just meditating with it, especially if you've seen it before. You're just like sort of. It's like a flotation tank, or something.
I like that.
And so I've been very much protecting my psychology in those ways.
Are you watching TNG?
I watch TNG. I just don't watch it that much. Or if I do watch something, it's like, a documentary that's like making of. I find making of documentaries are great because it's because it's just a document of people creating things together, and it's like creating things is awesome. So if I can watch people create things, like maybe I'll get more juiced up to create things on my own.
Agreed. Definitely. I love, especially music making ofs. Those are probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Different albums or bands or tours or whatever. That's cool shit to me.
Yeah, and music. I listen to way less music now, but I still create music. and yeah, I think it's just better for my
Are you
for
meditating
mental health.
regularly?
Not in any kind of formal way. No.
Even informally for 30 seconds here and there. Does that happen?
Yeah, meditating for me is like, I don't know, playing bass is almost meditative because a lot of times I won't be doing anything intentionally. I won't have a goal when I'm playing bass. I'll just be playing and almost not even thinking about playing. You know, just losing myself in it with no
It's kind of
objective.
sort of just
Not trying to
dancing
write a
with
riff or like do anything. Reading is very meditative to me, even though it's high information input.
Mm.
Playing a lot of D&D lately too. As you know, it's weird. Like we used to play in person, and it was like every 2 months or something. But now that it's online, it's like everyone's itching to play. Like as soon as we sign off, people are like, "Yeah, tomorrow. You guys want to play tomorrow?"
As soon as, oh man, it's good to see that smile because I'm playing it like about once a week with my nephew being the dungeon master,
Yeah.
and I love him, but he's not good at it yet.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's like pulling teeth, and you can see we're just there to hang out basically.
Right.
I wish that he would get better faster, but that's not my department. So in any case, that aside, I have some idea of how cool it could be. If I played it enough times, I could get that you could be just super exploratory in your thinking, and you could do like have a lot of imagination, and you could make it really fun. I get that. I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like you having fun. I'm part of me wants to like watch you guys have a match and see how like a really advanced match would go.
Yeah, maybe I'll record the next match.
The if it takes away from the fun, then don't do it. But I have a theory.
Yeah.
This is like a theory that your D&D group, I bet you guys will still D&D Zoom after the pandemic at least once a week, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think so.
But I bet you'll still meet like every other month in person to do it.
Yeah, it's funny. We sort of talked about that. We're like,
oh yeah,
we're like, it's working out so well that we're like, next time we get together in person, we were saying like, let's not even play D&D. Like, let's just hang out. you know.
Cool.
Because we all know each other, so a lot of it's just busting each other's balls and stuff like that. But my brother's a really good DM, and the software that we use is really cool. And yeah, it's great.
Do you do this setup here with the mic and the headphones?
I just have my headphones with built-in mic for that.
Yeah.
Because right now with this, I'm using OBS, Open Broadcaster Studio, so I'm actually recording it to my hard drive, and I have there's like an intro screen and stuff, so it's a little more of a production.
Fuck yeah, I look forward to seeing this.
So there's like an intro, there's a technical difficulties screen that I have, but I haven't used yet.
Right. Okay, cool.
So kind of like Switcher, but less, or more complicated.
More complicated, less cameras.
I miss the Switcher days, like the
gradient. It's like I still have kind of vague plans to buy it again.
Yeah.
And film some multicam stuff in this room. But guess what? I'm on borrowed Wi-Fi right now from my neighbor because the garbage truck tore our Wi-Fi cable out of the house yesterday. So that's pretty cool.
So the guy above you moved out. He was evicted, wasn't
he? He had stopped paying rent sometime before he left, I think. Yeah. So it's much more peaceful here.
What was he doing? Is he stomping around and shouting?
Yeah, stomping around, shouting, sometimes at the TV, sometimes at his spouse. But she would shout too. But then when it got really bad, which was occasional, she would throw things out of windows, and then they would end up in the street yelling.
Not good.
Yeah, and And so like once or twice I would just pop outside and go like, or Rebecca, hey, everything okay? And he would like calm down. Oh yeah, just. And another time it was like, he was like driving away in anger. And he's like, I told you, it wasn't all me. You think? You think she's so innocent? Come shit like that. It's like, no, never thought that. Yeah. So that's gone.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah. That's what's way better. Fucking shit. Well, we're recording an album over Zoom. I've got 3 songs in the can on the drums already.
What do you mean recording over Zoom? Isn't there latency?
We've done it a little bit where I shared the screen of the DAW while I was recording, and they could hear the audio, but it was like it slowed down the DAW, and it didn't really almost worked that they could like have the headphones on of the session that was happening. But it would need to be one person, and we need to be doing less, I think.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't really. I want to try that again. That didn't. I think there's half a chance that someone could come into my computer remotely, take over, be the engineer remotely while I tracked drums. I do think
that could happen. Definitely.
I think that's probably possible. So something like that would be cool. But no, what we are doing is like the young hero guitarist guru guy, 19-year-old whiz kid. He's made all the Guitar Pro tracks, like a Guitar Pro version of our songs with click tracks, because there's of course a bunch of tempo shifts and shit, and we change time signatures, and it's all mapped out. And so I get like, honking duck versions of guitar sounds to a click track that's perfect and goes with every change and stuff. And then what's been interesting is I had the first 3 songs, I didn't rehearse with it. I just got it, and then the recording was due that day, and so then I did it that day, basically. And then they've taken those, and those 3 songs are at 3 different stages of doneness. The first one we did, The Costly Delusions of Man, I think you heard a version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually, sonorily moved forward. So there's been some, edits, and there's more vocals and stuff now. And we've done 2 more synths, and they're kind of finishing up some little drum editing, because although I'm pretty badass, I'm not, in fact, perfect. And so there's a little nudge here and a pump there,
Yeah, so that's a good idea to have have the engineer remote, you share your screen with the engineer's remote, and then you just, work it out. Yeah.
You and me could even do that. You could do the share screen thing where you come in and control my computer. Right. And then I could be plugged in. I could track drums for it's kind of good. That would be probably the best way to do it. Is you go, oh, not like that, a little bit. Would you try? Oh, that sounds okay, great there. That's fine. It sounds good. Whatever it is.
That's more producer role than engineer. Always like weird zits. I just shaved my beard. It was like getting too long and dirty.
Oh yeah, this is the buzz down look.
So I got always like
I got less beard too.
Pretty good.
Sweet. Are you shaving your asshole?
No, bleaching it, but not shaving.
Yeah, Adam was teaching a course on anus bleaching, and he's really a couple of his A students are going for translucent. So,
is he still flying?
It's funny. It was February or March when it was like everyone was still flying and it was normal, and he had trips on his schedule, but he gave them away in March or something. Other people wanted the money, and he gave them to those people to do. But then he's getting paid basically half wage to not go to work through, I think, August.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been on this guy, our friend Adam. I've been like, dude, you're getting paid right now to stay at home and do nothing. You have no responsibilities. Your wife makes more money than you.
Right.
You guys are safe. You're comfortable. Plus, he has his retirement. This is the time for you to jump off and do something that's more true to you.
Right.
This is your launch ramp. Here's your runway. Can you flutter your little wings and start selling he builds light fixtures, for example. Like he's artistically capable and a builder, and so he like builds bike racks and light ramps, and like he can build cool looking shit that's functional for anyone. That's one thing. Also, he really likes beer. He could totally run a brewery.
Yeah, now's the time to like
So many-
sell your own beer.
But to who and how? You know, like I guess you could use DoorDash or
'Cause
something.
it's illegal. Is it illegal?
I mean, I don't know. Not really. I haven't done anything illegal, just to be clear.
No, I know. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically
Would it be
speaking,
illegal to brew your own beer and then sell it to people? I guess probably, right?
I think
'Cause you need a
technically
liquor
that's
license.
illegal. Yeah.
It's bullshit.
It could be something like in certain counties there's a certain limit allowed. Like that's maybe possible. Or you could like fudge. What I think would be cool is say you have a beverage you make that's unlike other beverages. There's actually no legal way to make it in any of the beverage making places. If that was more like a cottage industry starting point, that might work. Oh, speaking of which, now it's time for show and tell.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
What is that? Some kind of brewery piece?
Keep thinking. Keep thinking.
It's like sterilization, hopper, hops, cooker. Looks like it's copper or brass, so it's probably some kind of cookie. Probably some kind of cooker. Okay. Is that coming in or going out?
Yes.
Hmm.
Can you take a guess? Think of the Robo Brew sitting underneath this.
Oh, so it's like is that for hops?
This is so fun.
Hops, yeast. What else is there? Hops, yeast.
Okay, no. Think
brewing,
harder.
Bubbling up.
Think harder.
Harder. Oh, hard alcohol distiller.
Yes.
Grain, something.
The Robo Brew Generation 3 copper distillation system.
So you can make hard liquor.
Yes.
What do you need for that?
The things in these boxes.
But I mean, what ingredients?
Oh, this.
Just like
this is kind of the main thing.
Grains. Oh, malt extract. Okay.
Yeah. This is like with the Robo Brew you can do the whole like from the grain. You actually take cracked grain, you can boil it and make this and then ferment this in like a beer carboy or a keg. And then you put it back in the Robo Brew, put the copper stuff on it, and then you distill out of the alcohol, essentially out of the weak or not good tasting beer you made out of this. Because this essentially, you use this to make beer or whiskey.
Huh.
So like whiskey is like distilled beer, basically.
Oh, I see. So it's just like attachment parts for the Robo Brew?
Right.
Nice. Did you get that for your birthday?
I did. Yeah. Pretty grateful. So I now can Not I can make in a pandemic. I can make sterilizer,
Ah.
like sanitizer. I could make fuel to run farm tools. I could make stuff to clean surgical instruments. I could run my truck on it.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, obviously, you could make whiskey, bourbon, brandy, vodka. You know, all the things. I now have the capacity to brew and ferment and distill anything.
You can't call it bourbon though, can you? That's
You can call it bourbon if you get wine and you put wine into the rubber brew and distill the wine into a liquid. That is bourbon.
I thought it had to be from Bourbon County, Kentucky, to be called bourbon. I thought bourbon was like champagne. It has to be from Champagne, France.
Maybe I'm thinking of
bourbon,
brandy,
whiskey, scotch,
brandy. Is brandy whichever? Yeah.
Brandy's the more sweet, like syrupy sweet. That's awesome though, man. So it's just like an attachment for the Robo Brew.
Clamps on. You do the temperatures. You do the exact temperature of the liquid. And before the water vaporizes at a lower temperature, the alcohol vaporizes. You throw away the first so many milliliters because will make you blind if you were to put it in your body. You have to make sure to throw away the heads and the tails, and the tails is the last. You have many jars. You actually have them labeled before. It's it's some work. Yeah. But then you could age some with wood. You could drink some immediately. You could pour some on the ground, light it on fire.
So that's kick-ass. What I just thought of switching gears. Burning Man. What's gonna happen there?
Let's talk about it. It's canceled.
It's canceled?
2020 is canceled.
That's the first time in what? Since the beginning.
It's never been canceled.
Wow.
So it's not canceled because they're having an online burn. There's like a whole. I haven't even looked at it because I think that's silly. I don't want to do that.
Who cares? Yeah.
I think it doesn't hurt anything. I think you'll get some people will get some joy out of it, and that's cool.
I think if I were to do that, watching the burn, I would like have a space heater near me, and then as soon as the flames go up, I'd like turn the space heater up, and just kind of close my eyes and be like, oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
You might need a fan or something to create the whoosh effect.
Yeah.
The explosions.
Wow, it's canceled. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so there's some online bullshit. I'm not that curious about it. I'm more like, I still have the week off. I know for a fact, because I did a thing on Facebook, a post that got a lot of attention, some of it negative, about who's going anyway, basically. Like, they can't stop all of us, like...
from showing up in the desert?
As far as what some people commented on my post, to which degree is true, I'm not sure. There are several groups planning on going anyway on Facebook, and they are going to be following the rules because you can still camp there. This is not like
by
then it won't be locked down. So groups of 75 or less have to be something like 200 feet from another group of 75 or less.
Huh. Yeah.
I have half a mind to just go to Nevada and hang out for a couple days with my truck and see what happens.
Yeah.
If you want to go with me,
are there going to be like law enforcement there and stuff? Security?
We're going to learn more as the time gets closer. About they might say, no one come here, it's closed, fuck you. And if that's the case, then I won't go. But if there are groups seriously planning, and I talk to people on FaceTime and they're like, yeah, we're going to go and let's meet up, blah, 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 blah. I might go with one of those groups.
Yeah, it makes you think about how many little Burning Mans are going to crop up in the years to come.
Yeah.
Because
there are already regional burns, and I've had a couple little Burning Mans, and it's like, there's something, and it's yeah, that's good. It's better than nothing, but I thought about this too. Like, maybe one day I'll get sick of Burning Man, and I always had the thirst to go because I always knew it could be taken away. I didn't think of it like a virus. I thought of it more like the man would eventually just shut it down. But I always knew it was fragile, and it's funny. A year that I'm able to go, I can't go because it's canceled. But so part of me is like, well, what's possible? Are groups going? Could there be even just friends camping in a desert for 3 or 4 nights, maybe?
Yeah. But then it's like they're more desirable places to camp than in a sweaty dust bowl.
But my guess is there's going to be some art cars and some huge sound systems and some lights, and it'll be like a couple thousand people is my guess. My guess is it's going to be like 1995 Burning Man is my thought.
It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of more appealing than.
Yeah. I mean, there are things about that are more appealing. That if it's there's no roads, there's no portos. It's like it's my bucket, and it's take it in, take it out, and all that.
That's crazy.
But I'm interested in something like that. If not, then some kind of multi-day camping trip. They're really going to close the desert and have point guns at hippies. Like, I'm not going to go there. So we'll just it'd be fun to just camp somewhere else. That was cool.
Yeah. Huh. Did you do anything for your birthday? Did you camp or hike or anything?
No. I can't hike because my bulging disc. Walking any long distances, I haven't tested this in a while. Have been really, really painful. So we'll have to see about that. But for my birthday, I did, Adam. Well, we had social distancing, backyard only, pee outside hangouts. Adam came and sat 6 feet apart from, and Evan came and he sat 6 feet apart. We were all in the backyard. We just, drank. We had played some games. Like we threw little plastic balls at pots, and I threw an arrow at the stacks of hay, and everyone got points, and it was pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it was small. I definitely have a unrelenting thirst to camp with friends and have that include all kinds of fun activities.
Yeah.
So when are we getting you out here, huh?
I don't know, man. Fucking lockdown. So let's see this backyard. Give me 1 second.
Okay. The cannabis is working. That's cool. It is an expectorant. I'll take you out to the garden pretty soon. Zoom's cool. Zoom. Zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Zoom. Zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's a children's song my daughter learned, aka my wife learned. My daughter likes songs. She's very musical. It's pretty fun. Oh, Aubrey's back now. Okay, act natural. Everyone, act natural. I was just telling a little story. I'm almost ready to go outside.
Okay.
Hey. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just telling a little story. I'm almost ready to go outside.
Okay.
Story over. Let's do this. these little guys.
How are the little guys doing? Oh, you got like a
They're
little
doing all right. Bruno, come on.
barrier there.
I made a little, well, installed, like little bug magnet net.
Nice.
It doesn't work all the time because it magnetizes to the metal door. But can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see. Looks good. Wow, nice. So you made that from your old bed?
Yes.
Huh. It's awesome.
Yeah, the old bed turned into this. We got all these plants in it, and we got this circle.
What are you growing in there?
Oh my god, everything, dude! It's
The
like
usual.
You know, tomatillos, peppers,
Gotta diversify, right?
squash. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, very diverse. The big circle is like a bunch of medicinal stuff, and there's planted in the middle more stuff.
Have you ever thought of growing some other medicinal plants?
I have, and actually, there are some medicinal plants in this garden as well.
Cool.
Some of my favorite herb, and I'm
Great.
actually going to probably purchase some more. And what we're going to do with those when they get bigger is we're going to take these barrels, chop them in half, and then we're going to put cannabis plants in those.
So, speaking of localism, are you selling any of your output?
Yeah. We've sold a lot of live rabbits.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. You told me.
Yeah. So we've sold a lot of we've made a lot from selling live rabbits.
Nice.
But yeah, we've used that money to buy something cool. I think you can probably see it. That red thing in the chicken coop.
Oh yeah.
That's a double leveled layer that when they lay the eggs, they roll down in this little thing and they can't like peck at them. Because we have chickens who would like try to eat the eggs. So now it rolls down and they can't. And we use that from the money that we got from selling rabbits and stuff. So we're like
Nice.
mostly reinvesting, but
Yeah.
yeah. So we
That's
got our
good.
little hangout area over here.
Good advice. It looks more level.
Huh.
Is it? That's just my.
It's probably because we have stuff on the really
Stuff.
steep, weird
Yeah.
part.
Oh, that's
We
cool.
got
You
a
moved
tent
the
hanging out.
the chairs to there. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Barbecue area. Pretty cool.
What's the tent for? Just.
Babies.
Yeah.
You can put June in there. And
Like when you're
she'll,
hanging out outside, you just put the babies in there.
Yeah, she'll hang out in there for a little while. It'll be fun. Then she'll get sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, fucking A.
That's sweet, dude.
Yeah.
It's all
Plum
like
trees
sunny
here.
and shit there. Here it's like raining. Or was raining.
It's supposed to actually rain here Monday. Hey.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah,
Nice.
missing you. Look, you could be drinking beer in that swing right now.
You know. Wish I was, man. I'm drinking beer
So
here
how do
though.
we get you out here? What do we have
Cool.
to do? You could stay in the tent.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll try to become financially independent and then just live wherever I want.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Just
Well, yeah,
figuring
just
that
rent
out
some
is a little
places.
difficult.
And move all over the place.
You know, I have anxiety about like sharing creative stuff because
Yeah.
I just get like I start catastrophizing like, well, why bother doing that? No one cares. Like, why do that? Hey, how's the suitcase?
Tastes amazing.
Pretty good.
Wait, you were saying
Oh, just anxiety about creative
sharing part because
sharing creative projects and stuff.
you're like worried there's too much in the world. Why make more or something?
No, it's totally ego. It's totally like, why do that? Like, no one cares. It sucks anyway. You know, don't bother. Like, it's just totally defeatist thoughts. So
Yeah, that's too bad because you're really cool.
recognizing that, I think, is at least part of the solution.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's good.
What is that?
I don't know, some kind of coffee, chai. But
That's
life's
the
pretty
woman
good.
that
Can't
brings
really
you a
complain.
drink like that.
What's that?
The sweet woman that brings you a drink like that.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh man. So you're gonna become financially wealthy, but you're afraid of sharing your. Sometimes there's a why bother?
Yeah, just stupid
What?
catastrophizing thoughts.
So is there something that's more true than that?
Well, the nobody cares thing is actually good, right? Because I mean, of course, people care, but we're all gonna die. No one's gonna know who you are in 300 years, and so why not take risks and share whatever weird stuff you're doing anyway, right? The downside is so minimal.
Yeah. Can I add to that fuel
Of course,
that
please.
I'm like daydream about a regular bassist?
What would you like to see on there? Because I feel like I don't have that much. Part of it is like I don't want it to seem like an expert because I'm not an expert. I can play well, but I can't like read music and stuff, and so
Dude, this is the show. Okay.
yeah, go.
Screen's black. It starts boom boom boom. You know that bass riff?
Yes,
That delay. That's the
yes,
intro song. And then it's like 6 seconds.
right.
And then you're there with the bass, and it's just the video is you've already warmed up and you're just kind of jamming, and then you start the video wherever you feel like it should start. You get the jamming going. So it starts with you just doing, and then you kind of keep going, and you start talking about what you're doing.
Okay.
And you slow it down, and then you speed it up, and you just kind of keep talking about it, basically, and then you would do like an augmentation of that or something. And he maybe hears it once, in B, and
Yeah,
your mind would just flow, just like pretend I wanted to learn.
right.
Maybe that's what we got to do.
Okay,
That's it.
there we
You
go.
should pick up the bass right now, Aubrey.
So I should
Roll
do
that.
the show as if you're listening to me. That's good. That helps.
Yeah.
Because
I would love to watch that. And I think if you just made them like a few a week. No, seriously, 2 to 3 a week.
ambitious. Yeah.
I think you would have. I think an audience would trickle in at least.
That's good. I like it. It's good. That's what I need. It's like positive reinforcement.
Well, yeah, because you'll go on Instagram and I'll post it too, and then people you'll send it to me and I'll post it on Instagram and.
You think Instagram is the right forum
Yeah,
for
that's
that?
the leading head. That's the leading head of
For like audio, visual, any kind of visual thing.
Twitter. It's more about arguing about politics, and Facebook is more about grandmas looking at grandchildren.
Right.
Instagram is more about bands. Well, Facebook is bands too. It's like but they're the same thing. So that's like an overlap.
Facebook's a little bit like I don't gravitate towards Facebook as much.
It's sort of like if you have an Instagram, you have Facebook.
Right.
So
yeah, I think I would probably do Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Twitter is good for just like exposure and like what I love about Twitter is I can like send a message to Elon Musk. If he gets back to me, that's a different thing. But I could, you have access to all these people, all these heroes. Not everyone's on Twitter, but there are a lot of people on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of petty, bullshit. Way too much. And so if you're on Twitter, you really have to protect your psychology big time. Because there's a lot of garbage. There's like crypto Twitter. There's like porn Twitter, which I didn't even know there was porn on Twitter for a long time. Political Twitter is probably the worst in terms of like just not worth your time.
Yeah, sound bites of arguments.
Because you're not going to convince anyone in 240 characters to change their minds.
No. Is this a shouting match?
Yeah.
I don't even have Twitter on my phone. I do have a Twitter account, but I don't have the app on my phone.
Yeah, I don't have the app either.
I do use Instagram to some degree, and our new band, Alterum, that's like kind of the first thing we did is we have an Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's good for like anything that you're gonna brand.
Yeah.
You know, even your, but you have to have content. So
yeah, the band, a band Instagram has to be like posting stuff as often as I'm talking about for you.
Yeah.
2 to 3 days a week.
Mm.
And then there'll be their audience will trickle in.
With lockdown, it's like I don't really have any excuses.
Yeah, bro, you're so good at the bass, and you're good at audio, video, and you're funny. So
yeah, I would want to have talking. I think I'm funny when there's like some back and forth.
Well, then maybe this is how you do it. We do it on a regular basis with me.
Just in a chat, like chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
It could even just start that way, even, get it off the ground.
Cool, man. Well, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
All right. Should I let you go back to your life?
Pretty good. I think I'm out of material.
Well, I mean, I could just keep smoking pot and trying to make you laugh. That sounds fun to me, but
sounds fun. Gotta have content for next week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man, this is great. I think this has worked out better than last time. Last time we didn't have any audio for you. And this time we do.
I think I'm gonna just go ahead and check out. Maybe I'll even ask you. What do you think about? Is there a headset to buy online that would be good for stuff like this?
Yeah, let me find my headset. What is this? Logitech. This is the one I use for D&D.
What's the what kind of penis does it have?
Just USB.
USB. Ah.
So it's just like Logitech something or other.
All right, what's the cost on that bad boy?
I don't know, probably $30.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about possibly doing some. I mean, well, if our podcast can exist like this, and I can make my audio better, that would be good.
Yeah, and you could probably use. Well, you don't have the FireWire port on your laptop.
Oh, to use the interface and do like.
But yeah, just a headset would be great.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Even for zooming on playing D&D and stuff, that'd be great.
Other things too, like Neil Melton, who did a couple podcasts with us, and then one with us and one with me.
Oh yeah, Neil. Yeah.
He's like, I'm like trying to get him to do a remote one with me too. See, like, and he's gonna have like weird audio. It'll be his first time, so it'll be clunky and weird, and so.
What do you guys use for D&D?
Huh?
What do you use for D&D?
Just my computer. We just have it open and on, and we do Zoom, and they point their phone or whatever at the gameplay area.
Oh, okay. You should check out roll20.net, I think. Anyway, it's like a virtual tabletop, so you can all, you go to the website and you can all see the same like map.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I should record my next D&D session and just like send it over to you because you'll see what we do.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see a kind of a pro sesh.
Yeah, semi-pro because it's pretty good.
Well, so are you going to be editing this up and putting it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, fuck yeah, dude.
All right, man. I guess that's.
Right. Well, that wraps up our show, and I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. And I'll talk to you soon. Let's try to do this next week, huh?
Yeah, same time. This time works for me, so yeah.
Yeah. Let's try. Cool.
All right, man. Bye bye.